All systems go. Cleared for takeoff.
What is going on, YouTube? We're back with the first edition of the Sunday Night Football Showdown breakdown here from the SHIPIT Nation crew. I got my guy Hamwich here. Hamwich, how we doing, man?
Doing good. It's Saturday, watching a little college football, getting prepped for NFL Week 1, which I know we're all excited for over here at SHIPIT Nation. Going to have some shippers, I know for sure. But here to talk Sunday Night Football, talk this showdown slate, try to ship this slate. There's some great contests out there to win.
Yeah, absolutely. Opening weekend here, opening Sunday for NFL. We got the Saturday college game day rocking on the TV right now. Multiple TVs here, watching a couple of different games. Some great football. It's a great time of the year. I know you guys will be watching this on playback here, but once you do, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and drop a comment down here in the chat who your favorite captains were, who your favorite flex plays are, your favorite little approach there, because we do check those comments after the videos for future giveaways right here at shipitnation.com. Hamwich, we got a nice one on tap here. We got Dallas heading into New York. Dallas currently 3.5-point favorites. That line did open at 2.5, down to 3.5 currently as it sits now. 45 total here. Looks like a doozy division game here to start the season off. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, it's a little interesting. I thought 45.5 was a little high, just based on these two teams both should have good defenses. But it's going to be a great game. It's going to be the icing on the cake for Sunday night. You got Dak Prescott in this new look offense. Mike McCarthy calling the plays this year. You have the Giants who got Saquon back, who got a new addition, new toy to play with, and Darren Waller. He's going to be the focal point, in my opinion, of this slate. He currently has a Q tag. Looked like he messed up a hamstring on Thursday or Friday in practice. So we'll certainly want to monitor that. But we'll assume that he is going to play with no restrictions. So we are recording this on a Saturday, so just make sure you're checking that on Sunday night. But I really like Darren Waller. Got him a ton of best ball, so we'll just have to monitor his injury status.
Yeah, no, absolutely great kind of overview. And yeah, I mean, I thought the 45 total seems a little high as well, right? Both these teams, good defenses, kind of slow the game down. We know how Mike McCarthy calls plays. He's a complete donkey there, right? I had to deal with him quite a bit up here in Green Bay, and it was a shame. We were happy to see him go, and it's happy to watch him do the same kind of stuff down there in Dallas. So I think this game plays a little bit slower. It's also week 1. We saw that Kansas City and Detroit game, right? That total was 53. And it didn't come close, right? That game played slower. It's week 1. A lot of these guys don't play a lot of the preseason. So that's always another factor that we do have to take into account here for this Sunday Night Football Showdown here. Let's kind of jump right in, Ham, and let's break down captains first. What kind of captains you got? We'll talk through some captains. We'll talk through some flex plays here. Talk a little game theory. Try and keep this video 10, 15-minute breakdown, give or take here. Give you guys enough time to watch it back, build your lineups while you're watching NFL Red Zone there tomorrow. Hamwich, let's jump in. Captains here. You got Tony Pollard, obviously priced all the way up there. As it's the Tony Pollard show, right? Mr. Zeke got shipped out of there, and all of us DFS players, right, outside of the front office and the management there in Dallas knew that Tony Pollard should be the number 1 starting running back there in that offense. They still messed around with Zeke, but now it's Tony Pollard. It's his field. It's his show. Got Saquon Barkley now back, hopefully healthy this year. Hopefully he can stay healthy. And CeeDee Lamb up at the top. Obviously, then you got the quarterbacks down there, things like that. What kind of interest are you looking at here for some of these captain plays?
Yeah, it's like you said, you mentioned it. So great call out for you. But this to me is going to come down to, can the Cowboys move the ball? And I'm gonna think they can. I think the Cowboys win this game outright, and I think that they're going to rely on CeeDee Lamb to do that. I really like CeeDee Lamb in the captain spot tonight. I do like, you get a 100-yard bonus, obviously a point per reception. I think CeeDee Lamb actually outperforms Tony Pollard when it comes to a fantasy perspective. So I'm going to have a ton of interest in, I'm trying to win $500,000, right? That $15 buy-in on DK. I think it starts with CeeDee Lamb. And then I think when you have, we won't get into flex, but so CeeDee Lamb will be my top captain for the Cowboys. I would have Tony Pollard as the second captain, or, not as the second captain, but the second potential captain for me for the Cowboys. And then after that, I don't think that anybody else could be the captain. I think if you wanted to make a case for a third player, obviously it would be Dak Prescott. But after those two bell cows and CeeDee Lamb and Tony Pollard, I just don't know if anybody else on the Cowboys offense is going to get you to the top of the leaderboard. Conversely, on the other side, I would have tons of interest in Darren Waller if he's playing. He absolutely nuked all camp long, was dominating, inter squad scrimmages, dominating when he was in there. His minimal performance in the preseason. Daniel Jones, everything that I read was constantly looking at him in the red zone. So tons of interest in Darren Waller. Then the only other one I would have would be Saquon Barkley at the captain. And then I said that's the only other one. I mean, I think Daniel Jones, he has rushing upside, which he has 80 yards rushing upside. So if he gets 80 yards, I mean, he's going to have to be your captain. But I know I've gotten long-winded and said a lot, so I'll be quiet and let me know what you think about that.
Yeah, no, great breakdown. I'm with you there. I'm a little bit lighter on Saquon here. I wouldn't play any Saquon here tonight, I don't think, in the captain spot. That Dallas defense, especially that front, Micah Parsons, I mean, those guys are incredible. Dallas was second in the league last season against the run. So really, Saquon Barkley would be a complete fade here at the captain. I did want to make that note because, I mean, he is going to get some ownership. He'll probably be 10 to 20% owned at the captain spot just by the nature of the slate, right? He's 15-9. He's basically the focal point of that Giants offense now outside of Darren Waller, right? So I do think I would be a complete fade there on Saquon. I'm with you on CeeDee Lamb. I mean, this Dallas offense just runs through CeeDee Lamb multiple times last year. It's Dak drops back, two-step drop, finds CeeDee Lamb. His points per PPR racks up quickly. He's definitely in line for a 100-yard plus bonus. Might get you a TD or two TDs here because he obviously is a big red zone threat as well. So I'm with you there. CeeDee Lamb would be my favorite. I typically do favor the wide receivers a little bit more at the captain spot, especially on DraftKings. But that has turned now over the last couple seasons to become the most popular route. Everyone brings in the fantasy point per receptions, right? The touchdown upside and typically the price points, they're a little bit cheaper than sometimes those high quality running backs or even quarterbacks like we saw with Mahomes on Thursday night. So I'm with you there. I typically don't play any quarterbacks in the captain spot. So I don't think I would play Dak Prescott here tonight either in the captain spot, because typically when you watch these Cowboys games, a lot of the offense flows through Tony Pollard on the ground and in the receptions and CeeDee Lamb. So when you can pinpoint a target tree, I would much rather put that guy up in the captain spot because they're just going to add up that many more points quickly with the receptions when it's more centralized. Whereas like on Thursday night, I ran a lot of Mahomes captain naked because he spreads the ball around so much. So you want to secure the points with the quarterback. Whereas like if Travis Kelce played, right, a lot of the offense would have ran through him. So that's typically how I approach it. But yeah, I'm with you there. So really captains for me is pretty easy. Tony Pollard, just because he has the ability to nuke, especially it's going to be exciting to see him in this offense with no Zeke there. CeeDee Lamb, and then Danny Dimes would probably be my other captain, because what I do like to play, if I do play a quarterback, especially at his price point at 14-1 in the captain spot, is a guy with rushing upside. And Danny Dimes, obviously you brought it up, right? Gets you 80 to 100 yards. He gets you 100 yards. It's going to be tough not to outscore him at that price point in that captain spot from the rushing upside. And then obviously he always has the touchdown upside through the air. So really kind of centralized on those three guys as it sits now. I just can't really look at Darren Waller too much right now. I haven't read any reports. Obviously it's Saturday afternoon here. We'll get that report and that update tomorrow afternoon as we lead up to kickoff here. But I just can't do it right now as it sits at 2 p.m. on a Saturday here. But go ahead and let's just summarize captains real quick, and then we'll jump into some game theory and some other interest and get on out of here.
Yeah. So number one for me would be CeeDee Lamb. Number two for me would be Tony Pollard, and number three for me would be Darren Waller. Then I would put Danny Dimes number four. If you remember last year, Nades, and it was a little different because Cooper Rush was playing, but this is the game, Monday night game, and the kicker captainshipped. I don't think we're there this year just because Dak's back and they're saying all the right things about this offense. I don't think we need a kicker and or a defense in the captain spot, but this was the game where Graham Gano, I don't remember, maybe 19 points or something crazy like that, shipped all the money. So I don't think we're there tonight. What about you? Or
yeah, I just don't think. I mean, that was a little bit different, right? We had multiple spend ups. I mean, I guess if you want to spend up and just get all the security, I personally think this game does play to the under. So I favor more kickers and running backs in that game script at either anyways. So I do think that it does make some sense. And yeah, I was there with the Graham Gano captain. I had a couple lineups with him up there, captain. And when you see ugly games like that, I mean, there's a lot of field goals. The defense is playing good. That's where you see the kicker and defenses. I personally don't see it being that ugly here tonight with this offense, especially if Darren Waller does play. I just don't see it. So I wouldn't personally do it, but it's definitely is a good strategy because it never gets ownership. So I'm out on that. But I will go ahead and rank my captains real quick too. CeeDee Lamb, I'm expecting him to be pretty chalky, but I'm just going to eat that. I like him. I do like Tony Pollard. I like Danny Dimes with the rushing upside. And then I would probably take a shot on you could look at the Cowboys defense as well, I guess, in the captain, just because the thing about the Cowboys defense is they take chances, right? How much they a lot of sacks, Travion Diggs jumping routes left and right. So you get those, and it's the first game of the season, and we know Danny Dimes can definitely make mistakes. We see it all the time, right? So I wouldn't hate that, but I definitely more centralized around those top three. Let's jump into a couple flex plays, some different flex plays that you might have interest in here. Obviously, a lot of the captains will have interest in here. But talk on some like what you're going to do with some of these defenses, like the Cowboys price right there. I mean, they're 5,200. That's pretty pricey for a defense in the flex. You got the Giants all the way down at 3,400. And these kickers remain underpriced. I mean, 4K for Gano. I mean, touch on any of these sleepers or anything like that you're looking at here in the flex.
yeah, so I think when I have CeeDee Lamb in the captain, I think the optimal lineup is I think you're going to have Dak with him, and then I also want another pass catcher from the Cowboys. Obviously, we got the offseason acquisition of Brandon Cooks, who's looked good. This is year two that Michael Gallup is coming off of his ACL tear, so I don't mind him either. And then you're also hearing a lot of great things about Jake Ferguson from the tight end position, who should be under-owned. I would say he's probably number 4 as it relates to the pass catchers. So I want CeeDee Lamb with Dak and another pass catcher to round that out. I'm not going to be playing the Giants defense. I would have a little bit of interest in the Cowboys defense because you said, I mean, Michael Parsons is a one-man game wrecker. He can get a sack, fumble, and touchdown all in one play by the same person. So I don't mind him in the flex. I would not have him or any kickers in the captain. That's just not the way I play Showdown. So that would be it from the Cowboys from a name standpoint. One name that I do want to throw out there. I think he's 7,000, maybe. I'm sorry, 700, maybe 750. But it's Jalen Tolbert, who I have several shares of him in best ball. How much is Jalen Tolbert?
1K.
1K. Okay. So yeah. So he's 1K. I like Jalen Tolbert. I think he's going to be their 4th receiver. So if something happens to one of the receivers, or if they get down and have to play catch up, I don't mind Jalen Tolbert in the flex position. I think he could get you 5 for 50 and maybe a touchdown. So I don't mind Jalen Tolbert would be the only other Cowboy that I have any interest in. Talk on Cowboys, then we can go back to the Giants.
Yeah, no, great breakdown there. Deuce Vaughn, I think, is a wild card here. Obviously, he's the Kansas State back that they drafted here. He's going to back up Tony Pollard here. I mean, he is 3K flat. He was a very explosive running back in college. I think he's going to be very good, going to fit this Cowboys offense because it's kind of a little bit of a clone of Tony Pollard there, right? So I think they're going to have a little 1-2 punch there in Deuce Vaughn. I don't think he would be the craziest stab in MME formats. He's going to be pretty low owned here, and he's definitely got dynamic ability. And we see what the Cowboys, I mean, no team in the NFL right now really runs a bell cow back. It's a lot of 60-40 splits. I mean, sometimes even more 50-50 splits, right? The running back is just such a grueling position. So don't hate him there at 3K. I always love the kickers in Showdown. I'm a big kicker fan. So Brandon Aubrey up there, 4,200. If a game that I think is going to play a little bit more defensive focus, slower through the running backs, drives are going to drive down, kind of just drag the clock, drive down the field. Teams are going to settle for field goals. So I do like the kickers in games that I think are going to play under a little bit. So I do like Brandon Aubrey. And then, I mean, Michael Gallup coming back, he looked good towards the end of last year, right, when he came back for a little bit. I think him at 5,800, he's probably going to be, I mean, him and Brandon Cooks are probably going to be like a 2A, 2B type approach, I assume. So I do like him there at 5,800. And then, yeah, the same guys you touched on. I really don't have any interest in any of these cheap guys. I'm not going to take any stabs on Turpin. I'm not going to take any stabs on Shoemaker or Hendershot. We've played those guys a lot last season. Hendershot for sure won a couple showdowns there, catches a touchdown. But I'm not going to mess with those. I do think Jake Ferguson, the Cowboys just like to use their tight end, right? They used Dalton Schultz a ton last year, right? It was Dalton Schultz and CeeDee Lamb. So I think Jake Ferguson's going to fit in there. He was great tight end in college. They definitely like him quite a bit. So he makes a ton of sense. So kind of in lockstep there with you. I really just don't have any interest in those cheap guys. I don't even have a ton of interest in Turpin, but if you do need the salary, I do think for wide receiver number 4 with some explosive ability, don't think it's the craziest thing. Hit on some of these Giants and then we'll get on out of here.
Yeah, so I would play Darren Waller. Assuming Waller's in, I'm going to have him either in the captain or definitely will have him in the flex. I just think he has too much upside not to. The only other receiver that I really like would be Isaiah Hodgins, who to me, I felt like towards the end of the season, that's who Dimes was looking at was Hodgins. I know the receiving core was banged up. You got Sterling Shepard coming back. Wandale Robinson is slated to miss, but he hasn't been announced out yet. But Hodgins would be the guy. So if you're going Dimes at captain, I think you can go Dimes and just one other giant pass catcher, or I think you could go 2 pass catchers, one being Waller, one being Hodgins. It's more of a 3-3 build as opposed to a 2-4 build. So outside of that, I don't have really interest. I mean, Jalen Hyatt's boom or bust. He's just not going to me. He's just not going to get the volume to get there. I mean, he's going to have to take the top off the defense, on a 70-yard bomb to get there. And I'm not going to bank on it being his first game in the NFL. Paris Campbell, wasn't good in my opinion as a Colt. So I won't go there. And then I wouldn't play the Giants defense. I said that earlier. And then Graham Gano, if I was doing something like a 4-2, like 4 on Dallas and 2 on Gano, it would be more of like a blowout script where I thought Waller was going to catch, nine catches for, 80 yards, and then Gano would hit 2 or 3 field goals. So I could see that as well. So Gano, Waller in the flex or captain, and then Isaiah Hodgins would be the extent of my Giants exposure.
Yeah, no, sounds like you and I are both underweight here on Saquon Barkley. That's one big stand I'm taking. I'll be underweight on Barkley. If he beats me, he beats me. But I mean, looking at this, yeah, they have a lot of names, right? Slayton, Campbell, Hodgins, Shepard, Hyatt, the newly acquired guy. But really, I mean, if you're looking at this offense, and then you see a name like Saquon Barkley, right? Especially if Darren Waller doesn't play, who are you going to focus more on? Are you going to focus more on Saquon Barkley or let them go through the air, right? In the trio of Paris Campbell, Hodgins, and Sterling Shepard. I'm going to take the chances that I'm going to just make Saquon Barkley not beat me and focus on the other route and make Danny Dimes put it up in the air, where he makes mistakes. So,
and just to add to that, I mean, this Cowboys defense is elite. They picked up top 10 cornerback Marcus Gilmore. I think it's Marcus Stephon. Yeah, Stephon Gilmore. They got Diggs on the other side. I mean, we talked about Micah Parsons. I mean, they're elite defense. Like you said, front seven can shut down Barkley, and hey, we'll go Stephon Gilmore, Diggs on the outside, and hey, you got to beat us with dimes and those receivers no one's ever heard of. They'll take their chances.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm probably going to be close to a full fade on Saquon Barkley. That's one take I did want to put out there. I do like Darren Waller if he plays because we just said it, right? Their current top their top go-to, right? Their top check is Saquon Barkley. Well, Darren Waller, they're going to use this guy a ton, right? They loved him in camp. They loved him on all the preseason. Huge reports there. Him and Danny Dimes are on the same page. They're going to run the ball through him like a Travis Kelce style offense in the passing game here. So if he does play, 8,400 for him is too cheap. I mean, CD Lamb's up over 10K, right? Or close to 10K. I mean, I could say Darren Waller should be right there, right? Because he will be the number one through the pass game in this offense. So I do like him. Don't really like taking a chance too much on these Slayton, Campbell, Hodgins, Shepard trio. I would say Slayton always has slate winning upside, right? He's a burner. If he gets a bomb, they connect. It's going to be probably an 80-plus yard touchdown, right? He gets another catch. He gets you a 100-yard bonus at his price point there, 5,400. I think is fine because I do think he gets a little lower owned because at that price point, there is a lot of boom bust there with the style of receiver that he is. Not really going to mess with Daniel Bellinger unless Darren Waller is out. I'm approaching that Darren Waller is going to play. Again, this is Saturday. Monitor that news as you're watching this back. But, yeah, really no other too much interest. I mean, Graham Gano, I always love the kickers. I already said that. I don't think the Giants are the craziest play here. It is still the first game. We've seen Dak. Dak can struggle at times, throw interceptions, get wild. And at just 3,400 in a game that I think plays to the under, I don't think that's the craziest play either. I think they go definitely under owned because with the Cowboys defense, everyone knows the Cowboys defense. People are just going to, if they're playing a defense, they'll just grab that. So I do like that. We talked through a lot there. We'll talk real quick on kind of roster construction, 4-2, 3-1, 5-1, stuff like that. And then we'll get on out of here.
Yeah, I think for me, I think I'm going to start anyway. I'm going to start with 4-2 Dallas. With a Dallas guy in the captain slot. I really like that. I mean, at the end of the day, we're trying to get to the top of the leaderboard. I think you're going to have to find a way to get different. And the way that I'm going to get different is having CeeDee Lamb, having another pass catcher, maybe a Jalen Tolbert type, maybe a Jake Ferguson type, then pairing him with Dak, and then only having one skill position player from the Giant side, and coupling that with Gano. So that's the way I want to get a little bit different, is having two pass catchers, but not having Dak in the captain spot.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a good breakdown. I always like the 4-2, 2-4 builds. I think you could do a 2-4 build tonight here, especially if throw Darren Waller up in the captain spot at his price point, throw Danny Dimes there, and then run it back with 4 Cowboys, right? Whether it's Tony Pollard, I mean, you can throw the kicker in there. I think that's a great approach to take because I do think, especially if he plays, I think a lot of the offense is going to run through him. So I definitely like that. And I mean, the 4-2 Cowboys build, I think 2-4 or 4-2 can go either way. I don't think this game is a blowout by either side. So 5-1s are pretty off the table here for me. You can always play 3-3s, but just 3-3 typically is the most common build type. Just be aware of how you do kind of build that. I typically try and leave more salary. When Tambo and I shipped the showdown slate for the Eagles in Houston, the common route was a 5-1 build, and Tambo and I grabbed all the pieces of the offense that kind of it centralized around and built a 3-3 differently, right, in the game that everyone thought was going to shoot out one side, right, be a blowout in the Eagles' favor. So just little things like that to keep in mind when you are doing the 3-3s. But I don't see a 5-1 script in this, so I would completely cross those off the board. Any closing remarks, Hamwich, before we get out of here?
Yeah, the only thing I'd say is, monitor Darren Waller. I think he's a must play, assuming he's in. They may go a little Travis Kelce method and sit him out just because it's a long season. I think they're going to score a little bit more points than you do, so it'd be interesting to see what happens there. But should be a fun night, and hopefully I'm $1 million richer by the time that game kicks off. We'll know who someone is. There'll be several millionaires before that game starts. Hopefully it's one of us over here at SHIPIT Nation. Hopefully it's one of our members Nate. So we love having up those members. But yeah, this should be a good one on Sunday night. Good way to kick off the season.
Yeah, absolutely. We love those members indeed. We appreciate everyone joining over here. We continue to grow each and every day, continue to add more and more tools, more and more stuff that is of benefit to the members. And we're not going to move the price, right? So Tambo always talks about it, right? It's your most loyal customers should be the customers that get the best deals. That's how we're always going to keep it. Total opposite of corporate America right there with phone and cable companies. That's a story for another time. But yeah, super excited. Obviously it's Saturday afternoon here watching college football, and we got Christmas morning tomorrow. Listen to the guys break down the games on our YouTube channel right here. We will be live tomorrow morning. Hoop, Tambo, and Title will be going through the entire main slate on Sunday. And hopefully one of us is $1 million richer, or one of our members. Good luck in all your contests. Hopefully you guys are having an amazing Sunday. You're finding the green once you're watching this back. Good luck in Sunday Night Football. Monitor Darren Waller. But for Hamwich, I'm Nades. We'll see you guys next time.